Hello? Okay, it works too. Just check. Hello? Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. And yes, we are here for an interesting topic. Today's topic is around ring fencing for the crypto exchange platforms. So with me here, I have Leena and I have Arshad. I'm going to introduce myself first, and then I'll pass on to them. So my name is Temi. I'm an associate director within a forensic risk alliance. And a lot of our work is with sort of regulators, crypto platforms, stable coins, and the firms. And we do a lot of regulatory work as well as advisory. So I will pass on to Leena to go first and introduce herself, please.
Thanks, Temi. Hello, everyone. My name is Leena. I'm Egyptian from Egypt, and have an extensive experience in business journalism, which introduced me to blockchain. And then I joined 21 Shares as a research associate. 21 Shares is a part of a company called 21 Co. We are the largest issuer of crypto ETPs in leading stock exchanges around Europe, like Amsterdam, Euronext, and I'm very happy to be here in this very critical panel, especially now that Binance just got hacked, nearly $500 million. So yeah, very excited to be here.
Hello everyone, I am Arshad Khan. I am the CEO of Yoshi Markets Limited. Yoshi Market Limited is a cryptocurrency exchange and a custodian based in Abu Dhabi Global Market. So this is an exchange where clients can come and buy and sell cryptocurrencies in a very regulated environment, which is most important for going forward into the future and how you protect your customers and how you protect their assets, and which is the subject of our discussions today. So I think I can add some perspective from a regulated point of view, how whatever has happened in the past, which has brought some bad name to this industry, and going forward, how we cover up through the regulations and protect the customers and their investments. Looking forward to discussing with Temi and Leena today.
Thank you very much, both. And I think it's really interesting to have a mixture with the panel. So we've got sort of data, research, and kind of the journey of crypto as well as crypto exchanges. And then we've got Yoshi, where they basically solve the future and currently looking at solutions to help safeguard investors' funds. So the first thing I wanted to say, I mean, we all know what ring fencing means. We're used to having banks protecting some of our money, and this is something that doesn't exist within the crypto platform. So the first thing I want to say is looking at the need of a crypto exchange. So for an average person such as myself, if I want to trade in crypto, the to use that's easy to understand is a crypto exchange. So I would use one of those platforms, unlike the decentralized one where it's very tricky to get your head around. So for me, I feel like we don't really have a choice for the new beginners into crypto. You have to use this exchange. But then with what's happened in the recent, over the summer with Celsius, with Voyager, how do you guys feel on the impact of these exchange houses going bankrupt? What is the impact on investors' confidence? So if I start with you, Leena, just in terms of what you've seen.
So yeah, it has been quite a year. The two things that really affected what we saw in Celsius and Voyager is the lack of transparency and the lack of disclosure. Very important learnings for crypto companies to come. And it doesn't really come by surprise. These are the two main things that affect financial products as a whole. But we have also seen how the crypto industry dealt with it. Like, of course, that affects investors, going back to your question, and how they can trust. We have seen how the industry reacted to that, like FTX, with the consolidation with Voyager and Celsius, and how they acquired them in hopes of having more stringent risk management and transparency, knowing that FTX is one of the leading firms and backed by a very reputable company. So yeah, these are the kind of initiatives that we're seeing to help rectify this segment.
Asha?
Yes, in my opinion, there is still very much lack of understanding on what a crypto exchange is. There are so many white label solutions which claim that they are an exchange and which they are not. And that's, I think, the first step where the problem starts. Because they are not still very knowledgeable on making a differentiation between exchange or a broker or a white solution. So all the problems that we have seen in the past were mainly caused by these white solutions or the brokers that were existing in between, which was not taking custody of investors' assets. They were just like an intermediary onboarding a customer and then passing his data or his investments to exchanges. In the exchanges also, we had a lot of issues because most of the exchanges that are still existing are unregulated. So there is no supervisory authority that governs that how you will onboard a customer, what kind of security policies that you will put in place, what kind of risk management you will put in place, how you will educate the investor not to really go or overboard with the leverage trading, overexposure, margin, like that. And see, whatever you do, we have seen so many financial crises in the last 400 years, like the first one that happened when the New York Stock Exchange shut down, the Black Tuesday, then of course 2008, all of us, we have very fresh in our memory. And in the recent past also, like 6 months, we are going through a turmoil, not just in crypto space, but also in all other asset classes, be it commodities, equities, bonds, currencies, everything is suffering. But still, all these crises never investor to learn one thing which was told in Wall Street, that greed is not good. They still get overboard with excited products. Okay, I'm getting 20% return, I'm getting 2% return per month. These all exist in a fairy tale. You will wake up one day when the music will stop and everything is gone. So investors has to first of all learn that they should not go in for these kind of exciting products like you mentioned about Celsius. What was that? Where 5% return a month, it's unheard of. Like we comes from a very traditional financial backgrounds. When someone comes and tell me I'll give you 2% return per month, it's like warning signal. But 90% of the investors, they are still gullible. They go for those kind of things. So the thing that regulations bring in is to safeguard that as an exchange, a regulated exchange in Abu Dhabi, under government of Abu Dhabi, I can't announce those kind of fancy returns. So that way we protect the customer. So this is one very important that please, when you onboard with any exchange, please do your due diligence, whether they are really an exchange or just a white label solution, whether they are holding your assets or the funds or they are passing it on to someone. And if they are in exchange, they have their own order book, but then again, make a difference whether they are regulated or not regulated, whether they have their team here, they have the infrastructure here. If something tomorrow goes wrong, where you will go, whom you will catch. See, we all love we love DeFi, all these things. But when it comes of protection, I think centralized exchanges has an edge because there is a supervisory authority which overlooks all these things. Like in case of Leena, they are listing their ATPs against Bitcoin, against Ethereum. So they will also look for a venue where there is another third party which keeping an eye on their instruments that are listing. Otherwise, tomorrow you list your instruments, you collect money from the customers, and this exchange disappears with your asset. So these are the important small things, like very basic housekeeping rules, but these are very important.
No, and I think it's quite interesting you mentioned that because I know in the last 6 months, we've had a lot of them going bankrupt or sort of freezing the assets with what just happened over the weekend. But this is nothing new. I mean, the first crypto exchange to go bankrupt was 14. And I think when that happened in 2014, I think it was MT Gox. It was shocking because it was the first one and they held a lot of the transactions. They were one of the platforms that a lot of people were using. And looking back 8 years ago, we were not in the same space we are with crypto. And I think at the time, there were a lot of conversations and discussions about initiatives that need to be there to allow investors funds to be safeguarded. And I remember, I think in 2015, there were two London startup firms that said they were going to basically charge an extra fee if you want us to sort of safeguard. So in a way, it's not as risky as a normal crypto, so you don't make that insane returns, but involved in the market. And but that was 8 years ago. I think, and you did mention a lot about the tools. Maybe I'll come back to you because you did touch on regulatory, and I know UAE is doing a lot in terms of, especially Abu Dhabi. I think ADGM has a lot of rules in place. So from a regulatory landscape, what can you share with us? I know you can't share everything, but what can you share with us? And in terms of their thoughts and initiatives that they to help investors feel a little bit more safer and comfortable when investing in crypto?
See, coming back to all those scams that has happened, if you really understand what caused them, the the most of the scam, more than 60%, if and I don't know if many people are aware about this statistics, more than 60% of the scams were insider jobs. So the people who were running or those exchangers, they themselves set it up to do that scam. So from a regulatory angle, the first protection that comes in is any person who is working in a regulated exchange is all, first of all, they have to be approved by the regulator. So they look at your background, they look at your purpose, why you want to set this up or why you want to be in the senior management position. Then on top of that, there are so many restrictions in terms of like, I am the CEO of Yoshi Market, but I don't have any control study that we keep. So the private keys, which are very important to safeguard the assets of the customers, are not with me, which was in the case of other exchanges where the CEO disappeared with the private keys, or he said, I have died and the private keys have gone, and they got the death certificate also from a doctor. But so those were the kind of things that were happening, and that was creating all that problems. But here, first of all, the most important thing is who are the management team. Second thing, very important, who are the promoters? What are their purpose? Are they financially sound? Do they have a track record of running such kind of businesses? And third thing, very important, is what kind of security that you have put in place. Not just from the technology point of view, but also from the process point of view. Like we have a separate segregated client money account in a separate bank. And that client money account cannot be used for any other purpose, just like say, customer, you want to transfer $10,000. So you can transfer $10,000 to that account. Even as a CEO, I cannot withdraw that 10,000 and bring to my account because the bank is told by the regulator that this 10,000 can only go back to Temi. So these are the things that we put together to really safeguard and bring that confidence for the customers that this account, even if we go bankrupt or some financial problem happens, we cannot use that money. That's ring fenced, protected only to the customer.
And I think that's really good because it looks like the direction so the regulators are going in UAE is moving towards the similar system that we have with a bank or even with law firms where they do have the client money kept separately and they have their own. So I think that's the direction we're saying. I'm 100% certain time there would be more going on. And then I have another question. I guess if we flip the question from a crypto exchange, but looking at it from the assets, how are crypto assets safeguarded? So, I mean, maybe if I start with you, Leena, from the data, what are you guys seeing? What can you tell us?
So we have seen that primarily it has only worked to have cold storage, multi-signature, just like you said, to not have the money under one person's control. So yeah, primarily these are the two approaches that safeguard crypto assets in a nutshell.
And you, Arshad, what are your thoughts?
So again, see, there are two things that belongs to the customer. One is his funds, which is fiat money, and the second is his crypto assets, which can be or stable coins or utility coins. So both these have to be protected. So the banking side I have spoken about. So you have regulations, you have banks who protect that. On the crypto asset side, again, how you protect them. So there are several ways to protect. One is the private key. How secure is your storage of private key? How you store? Who have access to those private keys? If those private keys are lost, how you recover or regenerate those private keys? So all kind of exchanges is documented very clearly, and even the customers are informed that private keys will never get disappear, they will never get lost, they will never get frozen or anything like that. So that's another mechanism that we put in place. Then another important thing is your wallet system. How secure is that? Because there can be an hacking attempt from insider people or from outside people. So how secure is that? In that we use technology which is called as cold wallets, warm wallets, and hot wallets. Wallets, as we all know, they're all offline, so even a hacker cannot get an access to that. Then where your data centers are located, how secure is those data centers? Are they really in a very good with the service provider, or you are just using those cold wallets in your thumb drives and keeping it somewhere in your house? So those are the very important things that we have to take care of. So these are the things that we put in place, and our regulator came out with the regulations in 2018. They have been very progressive, and they're very agile from the industry point of view. That see these kind of asset classes a great future, but that future can only be a reality if you have the right regulations in place.
No, thank you very much. And I think that's a good point. This is not new, and it's going to keep the more prepared. And coming back to what you said in terms of the research, do your research. So if you're going to trade, research, make sure you know the exchange platform, understand whether they broker, whether they exchange before you go into it. So my final question, because I know we're running a bit behind, is on alternative solutions. So maybe for not someone that's an experienced crypto trader, but for a new beginner, what are the alternative solutions if you want to trade and you want to maybe avoid the exchange houses due to the issues associated with them? What would you say?
So I have to say it, but so what my company does is make accessible to everyone. It's like basically putting your money in stocks. So this is one alternative. ETPs, and not only my company. My company is not doing it alone. So crypto ETPs in general is a good alternative. Because that way you will not need to open a wallet. You will not have to worry about where this money is stored. It's a very familiar platform that. Yeah, so that is on top of my head. There's also on-ramp solutions that are also an alternative, like ramp network, I think, which converts from fiat to crypto and from crypto to fiat. Yeah, so yeah, these are the solutions that are on top of my head.
Ashad?
See, there are a lot of options now, and that's the fascinating part of crypto world. You have every like exchanges is one thing that people can get an access to a lot of investment products, but like these guys, they are doing something which can give an alternative then directly getting an exposure on the exchange. There are p2p platforms. Now DeFi is becoming big, so you can get into lending and borrowing, you can get into staking, you can become a validator pool for doing the validations and earn a return. And of course, recent trend that has come up of NFTs and metaverse. Buy land, they can buy all different kind of properties that are available. Similarly, in the NFT market, there is so many options that are coming in. The real option in terms of the IP rights on a certain media or certain value of a product or a physical thing. So these are so many options that people have now. But again, as I say, there will be a lot of options, but you have to do your own homework. You want to put your hard-earned money so that it remains safe. It grows with a logical number, not illogical number, and you don't exit the market by burning your hands and then saying that this is all a scam, which is not true. It's a scam because you did not do your homework. So please look into those simple things and make your investment safe.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Leena, and thanks, Arshad, for being here today. It's actually been insightful. Hear other opinions and how you could protect yourself. Thank you for the organizers for having us. And yes, thank you.